So our plans have completely changed. We are no longer going nomadic in 12 months' time. We're going nomadic in 12 weeks' time.
Yes, we are. That means we are leaving Guanajuato, Mexico. So in this video, we're going to show you where our love affair with this city began and then bring you back and show you where it's going to end in 12 weeks' time.
12 weeks' time. We've got to pack up the house, sort out what we're taking up for an RV adventure and what we need to sell off. And somewhere in the middle of that, I need to go to Australia.
So our first visit to Mexico was in 2015, but it wasn't until we said yes to a house sit here in Guanajuato in 2017 that our love affair of this amazing city really started.
Yes.
So this is the area that we were, which is high on the hill above the bowl of Guanajuato.
Yes.
And we didn't have a car. We had to catch the bus into town, but that was no problem. But we thought maybe we'd show you a little bit of what we did back in 2017 and then explain why we kept coming back here regularly over sort of the following 5 years. And then ultimately what brought us to having a rental property or 2 different rental properties that has been our home base for the last 2.5 years.
Cool. All right, let's walk over. So this is the suburb of Valenciana, which it actually is probably about the last stop in this city. Once you get on the road, you start heading out of Guanajuato.
So this was actually one of the first really long house sits that we did back in 2017. And every day, twice a day, we would have to walk 2 dogs. And the first walk of the day was about an hour long. And we had probably at least a dozen different walks all around this valley. But we would walk up 𝗪𝗥𝗏𝗪𝗧𝗏 Hill over there.
Right there is 𝗪𝗪𝗏𝗪𝗧𝗏 Hill. Doesn't look like anything and it's crazy steep.
And along the ridge line. And then down in the gorges, this is different times of the year, there's not as much water. We could walk along into the gorges and go up to where there's bluestone, little tiny sort of creeks and waterfalls. It was super pretty. And you can imagine walking for an hour a day with 2 dogs that we got pretty fit, lost a little bit of weight. But yeah, the homeowner actually has a little flat, a little like 1-bedroom place right in Centro. And over the years, she sort of would allow us to stay there short periods of time. And then in 2022, we asked her if we could actually rent it from her. So that was following a second house sit at this house. So I think it was a bit of a give and take. Every time she'd let us stay in the little flat, it was like, will you come and house sit for us? But we did help her out for at least 5 years finding house sitters for her, and we came back in 21. But the big pivotal change was Nat broke her leg.
Yay!
She got hit by a dog, and it wasn't one of our dogs.
Down on the road down there. It was very remote, and I sat there for an hour with a broken leg on the dirt road, trying to get off the dirt road so people didn't hit me on the drive. And finally got to a hospital about 2 hours later.
Well, at least you got to experience what public hospital... Actually, it wasn't public hospital. It was a private hospital in Guanajuato. It had the ambulance service, all sorts of crazy things. But it wasn't such a great way to end a house sit that has 5 stories in their houses having a broken leg. That's a whole other story. But anyway, lots of stuff has happened in Guanajuato. We do know it really well because of all these different experiences we've had. But let's go for a little wander down, show the area where the house is, why it's got such a big view and such an amazing experience to be right up above the city looking down. And because all these hills around here are filled with silver, the lightning shows are incredible when you have the different storms that come through in the middle of the year.
Yeah.
But we'll head down into Centro and maybe show you our first rental place, which was the view that we had. So we've had all sorts of different experiences of this wonderful city.
Beautiful.
Way out in the distance, we've got a Jesus on the hill. It's called Cristo Rey. And yeah, we've been up there a couple of times, taken friends that have come to visit. A lot of our friends that have come to visit are actually fellow house sitters too. So in the cluster of houses over there is what we called home.
Check this place out. Ooh. I think it was once a church, now it's a convention centre. There's the Templar. It's a very nice pink colour because of the sandstone that's in the area. It's quite native to this area. So it makes it really beautiful.
We would have to bring our trash to this bin.
To this dumpster. Primitive. I tell ya, it's primitive.
Can you believe we used to live up here?
Oh my god, it's crazy.
This is the 𝗪𝗧𝗏, Monumental 𝗪𝗪𝗏, with the best mirador of Guanajuato. Looking over the city. Again, there's the monument. And it's funny to think that we used to look straight up his skirt when we lived in this house just right here. That's incredible. So part of our home basing here in Guanajuato included some time here in this little one-bedroom place. Absolutely amazing experience to sit there at sunset with that table looking out over this stunning city. But man, it was noisy.
It's crazy. So cute, this place.
It's really nice.
I'll have to show you around.
It's good because they have 𝗪𝗢𝗥𝗟𝗗𝗏 here, which is one of my favorites.
Yeah, so each region of Mexico has different food, obviously. And yeah, this is the Yucatan, which is right over the other side of the country.
And they bring this out to start with.
And we started with chicharron, which is pork fat, so the skin of the pork.
Gracias.
Here's our breakfast.
Gracias.
Muchas gracias.
I'm going to show you my Yucatan favourite, panuchos with 𝗪𝗏𝗏𝗏, and that's getting an omelette because she's breaking her fast.
Actually, this is my first meal after a fast of 3 days, so get into it. Some protein.
Needs some protein, so she got 3 egg omelette.
Well, that was a bit yum.
Definitely.
Gonna miss that in Mexico when we go.
I know.
Beautiful food.
So we really need to explain, as we've sort of alluded to in the previous videos anyway, that everything has been based around getting our permanent residency here in Mexico. And that means that we originally thought we were going to have to stay here until November and then look at, our trip from there. But a few things has happened in the last few days, pretty much just since the weekend. And yeah, we wanted to explain what's happened. So instead of nearly 12 months of waiting, it's going to only be about 12 weeks that we'll actually give up our home base, which is paying rent and utilities and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And instead, hitting the road and being nomadic again. We don't know if it's just going to be in Mexico. It might be Mexico, Guatemala, and El Salvador. It might be up to the US. But at this point in time, we just wanted to explain how it came about that we cut it so short. And it started from having a conversation on the weekend where one of our fellow house-sitting friends said, "Oh, do you want to do a house sit in San Miguel de Allende in September? It's really, really nice."
It is a
And
nice
I
house.
I said, "Oh, well, let me go and have a chat with Nat and I'll let you know."
Before we home based here, we were traveling the world as house sitters, and we literally did back-to-back house sits. So we carried everything we owned in our suitcases and our backpacks and traveled the world, and literally just went from one house sit to the next. So we'd finish one house sit, we'd travel the next day or the next night, and we start the next house sit all over the world and from one country to the next, and also some continents to the next, which was just crazy. I think we spent minimal amounts of time in accommodation of hotels and things. But the way that we did that was just being really intuitive. So a house sit would come up on one of the house sitting platforms, we'd look at it and go, holy crap, that looks amazing. Let's go and do it. Half the time I didn't even know where they were. There was, Costa Rica when the first house sit came up. We didn't even know where Costa Rica was, but it sounded amazing because there was monkeys swinging through the trees. So we went, yes, let's do it. So we would always just say yes to these house sits, and then we'd have big gaps to fill before we got there. So then we would have to just, I don't know, we were just really intuitive about backfilling, and somehow everything just lined up. Every year, it just lined up.
I know, it was definitely about saying yes to the thing that felt right. And so ultimately this happened just on the weekend, and it was like, we'll say yes to September, that works. We could obviously, let our landlord know that we'll be leaving by then. And then it was really strange because it just started working backwards again. And it was like, let me just go and check our little Facebook group here. Pretty sure I saw a house sit in May that was for about 5 weeks. And I was like, ooh, what if we did that one as well? Which brings us back to literally following on from a house that we've committed to.
Ages ago,
in April. So we're going to Cabo. Actually, we're going to Cerritos Beach, but we're flying into Cabo from here.
California, sorry.
And we've got 2 weeks over there. It's a repeat sit. We love it. We'll be right on the beach. It'll be fantastic. We arrive back into Guanajuato, and we could just go straight to the next house sit. So it's like, well, why would we
It's already starting to line up again.
Paying rent? Yeah.
So that was the whole idea. Is I said to Jodie, why don't we just do what we used to do? Who used to work for us fine, and we never paid accommodation anywhere. So we did that for 10 years. So surely we can fill in the next 6 months of just with house sitting, or we may take a run up to the US, as Jodie said, or we might go down south.
But basically there'll be 3 months to fill in. So June, July, August is what we'll be looking at, because the house sit in San Miguel will be early September. We'll need to hang around a little bit after that to start the permanent residency process. But the only thing we know for sure as well, which is part of the backfilling thing, is we'd said yes to going back to Australia for Christmas. And
yes.
I had to disappoint my mum recently, saying that I wasn't going to come back in March for her and my birthdays. And she sort of said, oh, that's okay. I said, but what if I come at Christmas time? And I could see that was like making her a bit happier, because my dad's not able to travel as well these days. And she said that Christmas just gone was really hard to, get him down on a 3-hour drive and, staying at my sister's house. So I said, well, we can do it at home. How's that? So
yeah,
that part is planned. We will be in Australia Christmas 2025 and the start of 2026.
Yep.
So part of the backfilling, okay, we've got the permanent residency to get. Okay, backfilling, we've got the house sit. Not much to fill in there. And now it'll be, what will we do for those 3 months in between? So happy for suggestions. And if
you've got any suggestions of what we can do. We've thought about going up and buying the trailer beforehand and just taking some of our stuff up. We've got to think about how do we get our stuff up there that we want to take from the house that we're in now. So while we've got a car here, we could take a little trip up there to Texas and find a little van. Even if it's not our permanent van, we could buy a little cheapy van and at least put our stuff in there right now.
And our amazing community, I mean, truly, our community is just so amazing.
Yes.
2 people on the same day actually offered us a place to store the van or the car whenever we need to go to Australia or, get out of the country for tourist visa reasons, which is just amazing. So thank you guys. You guys are up. And so I don't know what we'll do. But at this point in time, we know we've got 12 weeks until we need to get out of our house, and we will work it out along the way, and we will let you know what our decisions are.
It's going to be pretty tight because I have to go back to Australia in that time.
So I'll be selling a lot of stuff.
My mum is possibly having open heart surgery at the age of 82. Massive operation for her health. And I don't even know how long I'll be there. I don't even know what date I'm going yet, because I'm just waiting to find out from the surgeon about when the operation actually is. So, and whether it's going ahead. So I don't know how we fit all this in, but anyway, it's going to be interesting.
And that was one of the reasons why I cancelled going back myself, because we just weren't going to be sure about dates, and it's much harder to have to get 2 last-minute flights than it is to just get 1. So Nat's going back just to help out her dad and be there for her mum, and I'm sure everything will be fine, but you know, it's their 60th wedding anniversary, and there was a big family event planned, but that's not going to happen now. So it's important that Nat goes. So I've got plenty to do. I'll be you know, taking photos of all the stuff we want to sell, getting it on Facebook, answering in Spanish, you know, using Translate.
Trying to translate every single message that comes in.
But we've got things in the house that we do need to get rid of. We can't take. So yeah, I'll definitely keep busy for those 4 or 5 weeks or however long she's away from.
The old quick start.
That's it.
We knew it wasn't going to be 12 months. You knew it wasn't going to be 12 months.
So we said we were going to take you back to where it's all going to end. We will show you where we live. We'll do that coming up now. And yeah, in the next video you can look forward to us talking about some of the logistical decisions we need to make. Like, do we buy the car in Mexico, you know, with the Mexican license plates, or do we work out a way to buy a car in the US? We've figured out a way to buy the trailer in the US, and possibly even Canada. We've got all these different options.
So many options we're just trying to sort through right now. So maybe you could give us some tips on that as well next video.
Anyway, for now, let's go back and have a look at Manantial, our little place that's been home for 18 months, and by the time we leave it'll be just shy of 2 years of renting, even though we did move in there quite late. And this is our little family suburban gated community, exercise equipment, swings, stuff like that. Beautiful big long park. I think it's, I can't remember how long it is, 2 kilometres around to walk. And we scored a really great place. We got a standalone out of all the terraces here. So we'll be saying goodbye to this shortly. So you'll see more of it as we pack up and say goodbye.
Oh crap.
Yeah. And we'll talk about some of the additions we made to the house as well, but that'll come in another video.
Yay.